I paid the down payment for our house. Furnished it while he focused on music. Then I came home early one afternoon and heard him say to a friend, "She's just a stepping stone." I didn't confront him. Instead, I let him believe he was winning. Until I took back everything, starting with, "I'm Maya. I'm 35 now." This started back when I was 29, living in Raleigh, North Carolina. At that point in my life, I had a good job in HR, stable income, and no drama. I wasn't rich, but I was doing all right. I had no kids, no debt, and I was finally saving for a down payment on a house. Life was quiet. I was okay with that. Then I met Corey. He was the opposite of quiet. I first saw him at an open mic night a coworker dragged me to. He got up there with a beat-up guitar, hair in his eyes, and started singing some original song about chasing dreams and being misunderstood. His voice wasn't great, but people clapped anyway. He had that kind of presence that draws attention even when nothing big is happening. We talked afterward. He was funny, smooth, and confident. He told me he didn't believe in wasting time with 9-5s. He was chasing his music career full-time. He didn't have a car, but he made it sound like a choice. Said he was all in. I was interested. He seemed passionate. And I'd always played it safe. Something about him pulled me in. The first few weeks were exciting. He'd send me little voice recordings of songs he was writing. Late-night talks, long drives where I'd pick him up and we'd just cruise until I had to get up early the next morning. I didn't mind. It felt fresh. Different. Then, slowly, he started staying over. One night became two. Two turned into four. Next thing I knew, his stuff was in my closet and his toothbrush was in my bathroom. He had nowhere better to be. I didn't tell him to leave. Eventually, I just accepted he lived with me. I paid the rent. The groceries. His Ubers to open mic nights. His lunch when we went out. At first, he promised he'd pay me back once his EP dropped. He had all these big dreams. I wanted to believe. He'd say, "I know this looks messy right now, but when I blow up, we'll be good forever." That was his favorite line. I got a small inheritance when my grandmother passed. It wasn't huge, but it was enough for a down payment on a townhouse in a suburb just outside of Raleigh. 2 bedrooms. 1.5 baths. Backyard. I was proud. It was a big step for me. Corey was excited. This will be our place. I can finally set up a real studio. The place was mostly empty when we moved in. So I furnished it. Couch, dining table, bed, dresser, lamps, rugs. All on my dime. I used savings, some credit cards, and my entire emergency fund. It didn't matter to me back then. I was in love. Or at least I thought I was. He took the second bedroom for his studio. I bought him a desk and a used mic setup off Facebook Marketplace. He promised he'd use it to finally record real tracks. Said this was the push he needed. For a while, I believed him. He slept in, stayed up late, and smoked more than he worked. I'd come home from work and find him on the couch watching YouTube videos of other musicians. He said he was studying the game. He'd go out with contacts to bars and shows, always networking. I stopped asking questions. I just worked. I'd come home, cook, clean, pay bills, and listen to him talk about big plans that never came true. The day everything changed, it was a Thursday. I left work early because my manager's wife went into labor and she shut the office down. I didn't call Corey to say I was coming home. No reason to. I just wanted to surprise him with takeout and maybe catch a movie together. When I opened the door, I heard him talking. He was in the second bedroom with the door half shut. I heard him laugh. Then I heard, clear as anything, "Yeah man, she's just a stepping stone. She's holding it down for now." Once I pop, I'm out. I stood still in the hallway. His friend on speaker laughed and said something I couldn't make out. Corey laughed too and said, "She's cool, don't get me wrong, but I'm not trying to marry a 9 to 5 chick, man. I just need the setup right now. She's got that house, that good job. It's all temporary." My hands were shaking. I quietly walked back out, got in my car, and drove to a gas station parking lot. I sat there for a long time. I didn't cry. I felt cold. Like my body was somewhere else and my mind was still stuck in the hallway hearing those words. I didn't go back in that day. I waited until he left later to do whatever he does at night. I came back, acted normal. Didn't say a word. That was the day I decided I wasn't going to confront him. I was going to ruin him. I started planning that same week. First thing I did was open a new bank account. Different credit union. Different online login. I changed my direct deposit at work so that only $100 went into the old account each paycheck. The rest went into the new one. Just enough to keep things looking normal. Then I got a storage unit under a different name. I started slowly packing away the things I owned that he wouldn't notice were missing: spare dishes, seasonal clothes, old books, decorations. I labeled everything carefully. Next, I pulled every receipt I could find. Furniture, electronics, appliances, all under my name. I took pictures of serial numbers, scanned receipts, even tracked down credit card statements. Everything that was mine, I documented. I booked a moving company and gave them strict instructions: pack everything labeled, no delays, get in and out fast. Then I saw a lawyer. Not for divorce, Corey and I weren't married, thank God, but to ask how I could legally evict him. Turns out, in North Carolina, he had no legal right to be there since he wasn't on the lease and didn't contribute financially. I followed every step. Got everything in writing. He didn't know anything. He was still talking about dropping an album by summer. Still leaving dirty dishes in the sink and asking me to spot him $20 for gas. Then, a week before I made my move, I saw a $700 charge on my Amazon account. Studio mic ordered and delivered. I hadn't bought it. He had logged into my account on my laptop and ordered it without asking. That was my final straw. I confronted him, calmly. "Did you buy a $700 mic with my account?" He didn't even try to lie. "Yeah. It's an investment. You didn't ask me." "You're overreacting," he said. "You make way more than me. I'm working on our future." I just nodded. That weekend, I put the rest of my stuff in boxes. Labeled everything. The movers came on a Monday when I took the day off. We cleared the house in 4 hours. Everything that was mine, gone. All that was left was his studio junk, a lawn chair, and the mattress he brought from his mom's place. That's it. I left a certified letter taped to the door, notice to vacate. 30 days. I blocked his number. He blew up my email. Tried new numbers. Made fake Instagram accounts to message me. He showed up at my work. I had security escort him out. He cried. Cursed. Begged. Swore he was misunderstood. He wasn't. Last I heard, he was crashing at his cousin's apartment and trying to sell beats online. I don't care. I took my life back. No revenge is sweeter than letting someone believe they were using you, while you quietly take away everything they were leaning on. So after I moved out, after I took everything, after I dropped that eviction notice and vanished, I thought it was over. It wasn't. 2 weeks after he got served the notice, I got a call at work from a number I didn't recognize. I never answer unknowns, but that day I did. It was my mortgage company. "Hi, Ms. Vasquez. We just wanted to follow up about the utilities issue at your property. We were contacted by the city regarding unpaid water bills, and there's a concern about property damage." My stomach dropped. "Can you explain what kind of damage?" I asked. The rep didn't know much. Said the city flagged the address due to an anonymous complaint. Something about flooding. I immediately drove to the townhouse. I hadn't gone back since I moved out. When I pulled up, the front door was closed, but the blinds were all crooked. There were beer bottles on the porch. Cigarette butts all over the steps. My flower beds, dead. The grass, yellow and overgrown. He had turned the place into a dump in just 2 weeks. I opened the door and stepped inside. The smell hit me first. Weed, sweat, something moldy. The floor had sticky spots. There were clothes everywhere. Trash bags in the kitchen. Dishes piled up with dried food stuck to them. But the worst was the bathroom. The faucet in the upstairs hall bath was left running. I don't know for how long. The sink was full, and the water had been spilling out onto the floor. The baseboards were soaked. The cabinet underneath was swollen and warped. I took photos of everything. Called a plumber. Then called the city inspector. They sent someone out the next day. The damage wasn't enough to condemn the unit, but it was enough that I had to pay out of pocket for repairs. Thousands. I had homeowner's insurance, but the deductible still hurt. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. I was done reacting emotionally. That's what people like Corey feed on. I let the process play out. Sent him a bill for damages. Never got a reply. What I didn't expect, though, was what came next. He filed a claim against me. This loser. This broke man who never paid a cent toward anything, filed a civil claim saying I stole shared property from the home. He listed things like the TV, couch, kitchenware, even my laptop. He used pictures he found on my old Instagram, claiming we bought everything together. I was floored. He actually got a court date set. So I gathered my receipts, screenshots, bank statements, every single document I'd already organized. My lawyer and I walked into that small courtroom in Wake County and laid it all out, piece by piece. I showed that I had paid for every item. That he had never once deposited money into my account or made any purchases for the house. I even had text messages where he had asked me for money, dozens of them, going back over a year. When the judge read through it all, he looked at Corey and said, "Sir, nothing in this shows you had any legal ownership of this property. In fact, it seems you were supported financially for the duration of the relationship. This claim is dismissed." Corey didn't even argue. He just looked down at the table. I wish I could say that was the end. But it wasn't. About 3 weeks later, I got a message on Facebook from someone I didn't recognize. Her name was Jamie. Profile picture of a baby. Her message said, "Hey, I don't know you, but I think you used to be with Corey. I'm his ex. We have a kid. Just wanted to warn you. He's been giving people your info. Said you ruined his life. He's mad. Be careful." My blood ran cold. I called my lawyer. We filed a cease and desist. Then I changed all my passwords, froze my credit, locked everything down. Bought cameras for my new place. Alerted my job and sent them a copy of the court dismissal and the message. Then I did something I hadn't done yet. I reached out to Corey's mom. I had only met her once. She didn't say much. But I figured if anyone could shut him down quietly, it'd be her. She answered on the third ring. "Maya," she said, surprised. I told her everything. The damage to my home, the court case, the Facebook message. She sighed so loud I thought the call dropped. "I'm sorry. He's always been like this. He'll ruin every good thing he touches. I warned him about you. Told him not to push his luck." Then she said something that stuck with me. "He only knows how to survive off other people. And you cut him off." She hung up. That was it. A few days later, I got another message, from Corey himself, through a burner account. Hope it was worth it. You'll be alone forever. I didn't reply. I printed the message. Send it to my lawyer. We filed a harassment complaint and attached it to the cease and desist. It was enough to threaten him with legal action if he contacted me again in any way. Since then, he's gone quiet. But here's the twist: a month after all that, I got another message. This time from someone named Kevin. He said he was a producer from Charlotte, worked with small local artists, and Corey had been using my name and home photos to prove he had industry support. Corey had told him I was his manager. Said I'd been funding his rise, and that he had big backing behind him. Kevin found my actual LinkedIn. Realized I worked in HR and had zero connections to music. That's when he knew Corey was full of it. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I sent Kevin everything. Court docs, receipts, the notice of vacate, pictures of the damage. Told him to never trust Corey with a dime. He replied, "Thanks for the warning." I already blocked him. That's when it really hit me. Corey had nothing left to stand on. No home. No music. No supporters. No friends with influence. His career had burned every bridge before it was even built. And I wasn't done yet. After Kevin blocked him, I thought I'd heard the last of Corey trying to use my name in the music scene. But a few weeks later, I got a call from a friend I hadn't spoken to in over a year, Layla. We used to work together, grabbed lunch once in a while, but drifted apart after she moved to Atlanta. Her voice was tight when she called. "Maya, did you ever date a guy named Corey with a gold tooth, plays guitar, raps sometimes?" I felt my stomach twist. "Yes," I said. "Why?" She sighed. "He's in Atlanta. Said he just moved here to start fresh. I met him through a guy I'm seeing. Corey's been talking real loud about a woman who screwed him over, says she ruined his credit, stole his royalties, and left him homeless." I didn't even know what to say. Layla kept going. "He's telling people you were his manager and you faked contracts, took his money, sabotaged his music releases. Maya, he's trying to make himself the victim." I almost laughed. He had literally never released a single song. But then she said something that froze me. "He gave someone your old address. Said you still live there. Said he was going to go back and get what's his. That townhouse was vacant. I'd put it up for rent through a property manager, but it hadn't been filled yet. It still had a lockbox on the front door with the key inside. I called my property manager immediately. Asked if there had been any access attempts. She said the lockbox showed an invalid code entered 3 times that week. Corey had tried to get back in. I didn't wait. I had her change the locks, remove the box, install a camera, and file a trespassing notice. I also called the police, not to press charges, but to log it. I wanted it documented. That should have been enough. But a week later, the back window of the townhouse was smashed in. The police called me at 6:30 a.m. A neighbor had heard the alarm and reported it. They found Corey passed out drunk in the living room. He had broken in and tried to reclaim his old studio room, brought a backpack with 2 bottles of liquor and a USB mic, told the officer he was just visiting his girl. He was arrested on the spot. Charged with unlawful entry and vandalism. And that, finally, opened the door for me to do something I hadn't done yet, file for a restraining order. I brought every message, every document, the court dismissal, the Facebook harassment, the property damage, the break-in. The judge granted it. Full no-contact order for 1 year, with renewal options. He wasn't allowed to come near me, message me, speak my name publicly. If he violated it, he'd be charged immediately. I thought maybe, just maybe, that would stop him. It didn't. 2 months later, I was at a small get-together in Durham with a few friends from work. Chill night, board games, drinks, music. Then someone knocked on the door. My heart dropped the second I heard his voice. I know she's in there. Maya. I just want to talk. I didn't even move. My friend Ethan opened the door an inch and told him to get lost. Corey shoved the door. Ethan slammed it back. We called the police again. This time, it wasn't a slap on the wrist. He was charged with violating a restraining order and resisting arrest. He tried to run, but they caught him a block away. I didn't even go outside. A few days later, I got a call from a reporter from a small local paper. He was doing a write-up on musicians accused of abuse or harassment. Someone had tipped them off about Corey. I gave him everything. I wasn't hiding anymore. I was done being quiet. The article came out 2 weeks later. Headline: Local artist faces multiple legal issues. Former partner speaks out. It didn't go viral. But it was enough to burn what was left of Corey's career. Local venues stopped booking him. His SoundCloud vanished. People stopped replying to his posts. He deleted all his accounts within a month. That's when the final twist happened. I got a letter in the mail. It was from a woman named Erica. She said she'd been in a relationship with Corey 6 years ago, before me. Said he drained her savings while promising to make it big, cheated on her, and ghosted her after she loaned him money for a fake label contract. She found me through the article. Wanted to thank me for speaking out. Said seeing him finally face consequences helped her let go of years of shame. Then she added this: he used to say the same thing to me that he said to you. That I was a stepping stone. He doesn't even realize how many people he stepped on. And how many are finally done staying quiet. That's when I knew this wasn't just about me anymore. I wasn't the first. But I sure as hell would be the last. After I got that letter from Erica, I sat on my porch and just stared at the sky. I didn't cry. I didn't feel victorious. I felt relieved. It was over. Or so I thought. But karma, see, it doesn't rush. It watches. And when it hits in waves. Corey's court case for violating the restraining order didn't go well. He thought he could walk in, play the victim, and charm the judge. He talked about his mental state and creative frustration like it justified breaking into my house and showing up at my friends' doors. The judge didn't buy it. He got sentenced to 30 days in county jail. Not long, but it was his first criminal charge. It stuck. And with it came probation, mandatory anger management, and a court order to stay 500 feet away from me, permanently. I thought that was where the story ended. But a few months later, I got a message from Erica again. And this time, she wasn't alone. She'd found 4 other women Corey had used. All different states, different years. Same pattern. Same lies. Same promises. Same stepping stone language. Together, they started a small Facebook group. One by one, we joined. Swapped stories. Photos. Screenshots. It was all the same game. Then one of the women, Angela, said something that made my blood run cold. I think he used my social to open a credit card. We all went quiet. That's when I remembered, when Corey was living with me, he once asked to see my ID real quick, to confirm something on a website for a contest. I thought it was weird, but I handed it over. He took a picture of it. I saw the flash. I never saw him delete it. I pulled my credit report right then. And there it was. An old card opened under my name in New Jersey. $4,500 owed. Maxed out. Never paid. Sent to collections. I had never lived in New Jersey a day in my life. I felt sick. Angry. Embarrassed. I had been so careful with my money, my credit, my name. And now this. I called the bank, filed a fraud report, froze my accounts again, and started the long process of disputing it. But I didn't stop there. One of the women in the group, Tara, used to work for a non-profit that helped domestic abuse survivors deal with identity theft and financial manipulation. She offered to help us, every single one of us, get legal help. We weren't just telling stories now. We were building a case. Corey had messed with the wrong women. And we were done playing nice. We gathered everything: dates, accounts, fake emails he used, evidence of impersonation. The woman from Atlanta even had a voicemail where he bragged about finessing dumb girls for cash. That was our nail in the coffin. Tara found a lawyer who specialized in fraud and abuse. She took our case pro bono. Said she was tired of men like him getting away with it. We filed a civil suit. 5 women. Different states. Same defendant. He was served the papers while working at a vape shop in Durham. Someone posted the photo in our group. He looked stunned. Like he never thought anyone would hold him accountable. Court took a while. These things always do. But when it finally happened, he didn't even show up for the first 2 hearings. The judge ruled in our favor by default. $52,000 in damages across all 5 of us. Not because we expected to get that money, we knew he didn't have it, but because now we had a legal judgment on record. That meant every time he tried to open a real business, apply for loans, get approved for housing, pass a background check, it would come up. He would never escape it. He tried to appeal. It got denied. He filed a GoFundMe saying he was targeted by bitter exes. We reported it. It got taken down in 48 hours. People stopped believing him. Stopped replying. Stopped offering second chances. Corey wasn't underground talent anymore. He was a scammer. A fraud. A cautionary tale. And me? I rebuilt. I fixed my credit. Bought a different house, smaller, smarter. No shared studio. No live-in boyfriends. I focused on work, got promoted, and finally paid off the last bit of credit card debt from the furniture I'd let him live off. But I didn't come out clean either. I had to face the fact that I let someone use me for over a year. I ignored red flags. I made excuses. I paid bills and called it love. I thought if I was good enough, patient enough, supportive enough, that he would grow up. He didn't. That was on him. But staying, that was on me. I don't hate myself for it. But I'll never forget it either. Now, when I see someone romanticize struggling artists who live off their partners, I speak up. I tell my story. Because people like Corey, they don't just ruin bank accounts. They ruin trust, confidence, peace. And unless someone stops them, they move on to the next. So maybe, finally, we stopped him. And even if he finds a way to crawl back again, he'll have to do it with the weight of 5 court judgments, a public record, and a long list of receipts following him everywhere he goes. That's the thing about being a stepping stone. Eventually, we rise. And the ones who stepped on us? They sink.